Chị Bảy Miradoli, một phụ nữ đến từ đất nước Italy xinh đẹp và lãng mạn, vẫn không quên nguồn gốc Việt Nam trong dòng máu của mình. Cô đã sống ở Việt Nam được 4 năm và cô yêu nơi đây. Có lẽ vì Việt Nam và Italy giống nhau về lối sống xem trọng gia đình, nên cô cảm thấy đây là ngôi nhà thứ hai dành cho mình. Khi ở cạnh nhau, có thể rằng chúng ta không thể tìm thấy điểm chung của những thành viên này. Nhưng dù chỉ còn 1/4 ít ỏi điểm chung trong dòng máu, họ vẫn tìm đến nhau và cùng tạo nên một gia đình lớn. Những bữa cơm thân mật diễn ra trong nhiều thứ tiếng khác nhau, có thể là tiếng Việt, cũng có thể là tiếng Pháp, cũng có thể là tiếng Anh. Nhưng dù sao đi nữa, ngôn ngữ không phải là điều duy nhất gắn kết họ thành một gia đình, mà chính từ trái tim luôn hướng về cội nguồn của mỗi người.
Hi, Miradoli.
Hi.
Last episode we did talk about like your whole country, like about Italy as a whole, right?
Yes.
Today I believe that the TV viewers will be very interested in knowing more about your fatherland, your hometown, like the place that you were born and raised in Italy.
Okay.
Is it okay if we talk about that?
Of course.
Okay.
I was actually born in Tuscany, and my father's family is mostly from Tuscany, but I grew up in Sardinia. Sardinia is an island. Most people don't know where it is. Most people are very familiar with Sicily, but not Sardinia. It's the other main island in Italy. I grew up there. I lived in Sardinia since I was very little, and I actually grew up in a resort.
Oh, a resort.
Yes.
So, you're very lucky. You grew up in a resort. Like any special things about that resort?
Well, my father worked there, so yes, in the summer it was beautiful because I lived there, and it was, of course, a resort. But in the winter, it was actually very tough because it was very isolated. It's Sardinia has 4 seasons, so the resort only worked for 4 months out of the year. The rest of the year was very cold, and we lived in a home that was not built for the cold because it was only built for the summer. And we often had power outages, no water, and very cold and humid. So that part was not glamorous.
Oh, okay.
But the summers made up for it. It was beautiful by the sea and very beautiful. It was a strip of land between the river and the sea.
Oh.
And they met in the end, so you could cross. It was beautiful.
Okay, I can imagine that. So Sardinia, your hometown, is also an isolated island like Sicily, right? You said about it. So it's two of the biggest islands in Italy.
Correct.
Am I correct? Okay. When we talk about Sicily, Sicily is more famous because we talk about like the mafioso. We talk about like it's the dance of all the gangs. Is it also the case in your hometown in Sardinia?
No, there's not mafia, but like many other places, of course it has this dark side, but in general it's a beautiful place, very traditional. People in Sardinia are very much attached to their traditions. Also, it's a very unique place because like the rest of Italy, we had sort of foreign domination in the past, so throughout history. And Sardinia had the Moors, which is Arabic people, that colonized part of the island, while the northern part, near where I grew up, was for a short period of time colonized by the Spanish. So near where I grew up, they speak a dialect which is pure Catalano, which is Spanish. So there is a very strong Arabic and Spanish influence in the culture. Also Sardinia, the dialect that is spoken in Sardinia is an actual language, and they're trying to make it recognized as an independent language with its own grammar. And the food is also very different from the mainland. So it's a very unique place. Every time I go back, the first thing is the scent. When I get out of the plane or the boat, however I get there, I'm always overwhelmed by the scent. But it's a very Mediterranean scent.
Với vẻ đẹp trong xanh thuần khiết, Sardinia, hòn đảo lớn thứ hai của vùng Địa Trung Hải, là điểm cư ngụ lý tưởng cho con người. Tuy nhiên, đằng sau vẻ đẹp thiên phú đó là những khắc nghiệt của khí hậu. Nếu trong 135 ngày của mùa xuân và mùa hạ, Sardinia lung linh ấm áp, thân thiện, mở rộng vòng tay chào đón mọi du khách ghé thăm, thì hơn 200 ngày còn lại, Sardinia chìm sâu trong giấc ngủ rét buốt, cằn cỗi. Có lẽ vì sự khắc nghiệt đó mà chỉ những ai có tình yêu sâu sắc với thiên nhiên mới đủ lòng dũng cảm để sinh sống tại Sardinia. Và cũng chính nhờ bàn tay chăm sóc của họ mà Sardinia đã gìn giữ được phần lớn môi trường tự nhiên tươi đẹp. Ngay cả những tảng đá xuất hiện từ thời đại cổ sinh vẫn được bảo vệ để có thể đứng vững suốt 500 triệu năm qua. Có lẽ vì quá hài lòng với đời sống tự nhiên nên những cư dân nơi đây dường như không còn màng đến việc xây dựng những khu đô thị tươm tất nhân tạo nữa. Những ngôi nhà tồn tại hàng thế kỷ, những khu phố nhỏ hẹp, cổ xưa và lối sống truyền thống vẫn còn ở Sardinia. Đến Sardinia, thời gian dường như ngừng lại để cho mỗi người có thể cảm nhận được âm thanh của thiên nhiên, cũng như quay về với một Địa Trung Hải trong thời kỳ đã xa, khi mà các nền văn hóa bắt đầu giao thoa với nhau để cùng tạo nên một Sardinia màu sắc và riêng biệt.
And you also mentioned earlier that in Sardinia you have a combination of Arab and Spain, right? Only the two countries. Why Spain and Arab?
Among the foreign domination, the Arabs, because it's very close.
Oh.
It's in the Mediterranean, and from North Africa to Sardinia is very close. So in the past, there were a lot of people from Arab countries that made it to Sardinia, and so they influence a lot of the culture. And the northern part of Sardinia is not so as close to Spain, but easily accessible. So there's a strong influence in the craft, in the jewelry, in the dialect that is spoken, in some of the food also. Some of the food also has Spanish-sounding names and a lot of influences.
But how are they compiled in the food? Like, is it going to be like a mix of Arabian cuisine and Spanish cuisine, or is it like you have it separately, like on a dish we have like one side Arabic, one side Spanish, or is it like just mixed?
Oh, so food in Sicily has a very strong Arabic influence.
Oh, in Sicily?
In Sicily, yes. In Sardinia, a little less, but still, nevertheless, some of the bread that they make, they made a bread is called spianata, which is reminiscent of pita bread, which is
But Italy is also a very like old country as well,
Yes.
and you must have a very strong history and a strong development of cuisine as well. In Sardinia, Sardinia is like belongs to Italy. It has Arabic element, it has Spanish element. What about the traditional Italian element?
but Italy also is a lot of influences. Greek, northern Italy is very influenced by European countries and cultures. There are parts of Italy that have an Austrian influence, parts of Italy have a French influence, and so on and so forth. I think pasta is it's very Italian. The cheeses that they make in different parts of Italy. The cold cuts, I cannot, the wine. Well, okay, the wine.
Mặc dù tự nhận không phải là người khéo léo trong nấu ăn, nhưng thì bảy Miradoli vẫn muốn dành thời gian trổ tài nấu nướng với bạn bè Việt Nam. Cô chia sẻ bí quyết làm mì Ý, một trong những món ăn rất Italy. Những lúc như vậy, Miradoli cũng tranh thủ học nấu món ăn Việt Nam để khi về thăm gia đình, cô có thể trổ tài. Và hôm nay là món bông bí nhồi thịt. Nào, để xem món nào ngon hơn nhé. Để tạo một món ăn đậm chất Ý thì cách nêm nếm gia vị rất quan trọng. Người Ý thường sử dụng gia vị tươi, đó là lá thơm và tỏi, giống như người Việt Nam sử dụng ngò, hành lá vậy. Và để món mì ống hoàn hảo thì việc thêm một chút rượu vang của Ý là không được quên đâu.
So we were talking about cuisine, right? Any other things that can show the uniqueness of Sardinia?
Oh, so many things, like the language, the culture. It's a very unique culture. You know how in Vietnam, a lot of foreigners struggle with learning the pronouns because you refer to everybody with a family pronoun, which is also indicative of the importance of family. We don't really have that in Italy so much, but in Sardinia, where I grew up, in my town, the name of the town is Badesi, near the resort where I grew up, which is actually the town where I spend most of my time in the winter. We address all the older people as uncle or aunt, as a sign of respect. Also in Sardinia, it's very common, like other parts of southern Italy, like Sicily. In English, there's only one way to say you.
Yes.
In a lot of Romance languages, there are two ways to say you, depending on status or importance or respect. In Sardinia or Sicily, we actually have 3 levels to say you, because 3 levels of respect.
Okay. So, language. Do people speak both Arabic and Spanish? Or do they speak only one language?
Different parts. So Sardinia is just an island, but different parts have a different dialect. Is in one town, Alghero, they speak their dialect is just happens to be Spanish. But in other parts of the island, they have different dialects, and the main one, I think, has influences from many different places. It's very difficult to speak and understand.
But all of them will speak Italian, right?
Of course, the younger generation, everybody does. Some of the older generation, they don't. Or somebody in the countryside, older generation in the countryside, they might only speak the dialect. That's throughout Italy. The older people, especially if they work in rural areas and they don't go to school, they might not speak Italian. The most dialects in Italy, they're easy to understand. Sardinia, no. It's very different from Italian.
So you said earlier that your town is Badesi, right?
Very well. Very good pronunciation.
Badesi. Okay. Badesi, does it have anything special compared to other parts of Sardinia?
It's a small town. Only when I was still living there, about 2,000 people live there. So very small.
You are very special.
Yeah, and the very near the sea, on a hill, very near the sea. Amazing, beautiful beach, but also very. These towns in Italy, they all have a patron saint. And the day of the birthday of that patron saint, the town will celebrate. It's like the town's birthday.
Oh, okay.
And so Badesi has one. I forgot the name.
What's the name?
But they have on that day they have bands playing, and everybody, a lot of the women congregate in the town school, and they cook for 2 days for the entire town. And the day of the party, everybody eats for free the local specialty for everybody, and a lot of people come. It's just beautiful, and it's all about community and celebration, and of course food.
That's so great. Talking to you is like opening different layers of discovery, like the Russian matryoshka dolls. Like first of all, we have Italy, we open it, and we have Sardinia, we open it, we have Badesi. A lot of great things and a lot of great experience you must have. So that's amazing. I think the viewers will really love this. Thank you a lot for your time here, and thank you a lot for all of the knowledge and all of the experience and all the colors that you have brought to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Quý vị và các bạn thân mến, chương trình Văn hóa và những người bạn đến đây là hết. Chắc hẳn quý vị và các bạn đã có thêm một cái nhìn hoàn toàn mới về quốc đảo Italy. Italy không chỉ là một trong những khởi nguồn của nền văn minh nhân loại, mà còn là một nền văn hóa đa dạng và độc đáo. Thay mặt những người thực hiện chương trình, xin chào và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình lần sau.